You're listening to a crossover episode of Twin Cities Pride Amplified. On this episode, Andy and Rena from Twin Cities Pride Amplified were guests on the show Redefining Recovery as they discuss the importance of recovery in the LGBTQ plus community. We hope you enjoy this crossover episode between Twin Cities Pride Amplified and Redefining Recovery.
Well, welcome to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. We are here on this beautiful day, and I would like to lean on my Miss Erin, and she will do a little thank you to some of our incredible folks out there that support Minnesota Recovery Connection.
Yeah, good morning, Caddy. Happy to be here. Special thanks, as always, to our generous funders, including the Patrick and Amy Butler Family Foundation, Otto Bremer Trust, the Sauer Family Foundation, the Hardenberg Foundation, alongside many other donors. And today we have Andy and Rena joining us from Twin Cities Pride. We are incredibly excited to have you with us today.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
You're happy to be here.
Yeah. Yes. Before we get started with introductions, we're going to start with the question we always begin with. So, Miss Caddy, what's right with you today?
Well, what's right with me? Today, traffic was really kind of and I was like, I don't know if I like this. This is kind of ugly. But I realized as I'm driving, I'm like, I get to have a new conversation with some incredible people. And when we get to do these conversations, it just really lightens my heart. When we were first here, sort of going on this journey, we all happened to be in the same room at the same time having a conversation. I'm like, oh, how lucky are we? So what's right with me today is that I get to be with incredible humans that talk about incredibly important subjects and how we get to join together and be one unified community. So thank you.
For sure.
Yes. Erin, what's right with you today?
Oh, what's right with me today? It is Father's Day weekend, and my dad happens to be in town from California with my stepmother, and Sunday happens to be her birthday. So we get to celebrate that this weekend, and that's going to be great. But before I do that, my girlfriend and I are going to High Flora for a burlesque show. It's a drag queen show on Father's Day. I think it's called Who's Your Daddy?
Wow.
I think. I'm really excited.
Be surprised.
Yeah, it's going to be so
That's
much
what
fun.
it's called, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's, I'm excited about that. I haven't been to a drag show for a really long time, so that'll be fun.
Oh, that sounds so cool.
Yeah, it'll be good. How about you, Rena? What's right with you today?
What's right with me today is, so it is Pride Month, so we at Twin Cities Pride are just say burning the candle
on fire,
at both
maybe?
ends is like, there we go, the entire candle is on fire. And, Andy and I usually record Twin Cities Amplified on Tuesday mornings here at AM 950. And we usually meet for like just a lovely little coffee session beforehand to connect and like kind of get on task. And I have missed that this month because we tend to, try and get our stuff done, and we don't get to spend as much time here. We don't get to do our little coffee chats like we like to. And this morning, though, we made time to meet for coffee, to talk, because we want to make sure we had our heads in the right space for this episode, because it's so important what we're talking about. And just thank you to the both of you for making this happen, because this is something we've wanted to do for a while.
For sure.
So thank you.
As have we. Thank you for
Yes. And so, Andy, I get to ask on this program, what's right with you today?
Oh, goodness. Well, starting my morning off like this instead of 6 a.m. in the office is quite great. I'm going to, yes, I love that. I think what really warms my heart, especially today, is that, during June, we oftentimes, it's a celebration of our accomplishments in the community. And I always enjoy it when we can take a second to make sure that we talk about things that'll make people enjoy their life all year round. And so that's why this conversation really lightens my heart, because I think it's a reminder that you're not alone.
Wow. Thank you. What a beautiful message. Yeah. And we do have to enjoy our lives all year long.
100%.
Every day. I want to just add that I was at the Loon soccer game on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah.
And it was LGBTQ night. And the flags and the peoples and the excitement. I had no idea. I got free tickets from a friend of mine. Bless you, Omar. Thank you if you're out there anywhere. And it was like I got to have that extra little pop of that excitement. So the whole idea of bringing us together in this conversation is to talk about, yes, we are in Pride Month, which is amazing, but then we're also going to truly be talking about this intersection between substance use disorder and the LGBTQIA plus community, and where they all do intersect. And before we actually started, we're like, where does it almost always begin? Andy?
Yeah. And it's funny that we're talking about this in Pride Month, because I think oftentimes Pride Month brings a whole lot of people out. And when we talk about Pride festivities, we often talk about bars and what that looks like. And so, we were having a discussion this earlier before we started recording, that where is the place to meet community, right? We talk about community a whole lot and what community does for us, and you always meet them in the bars.
Yep.
And it's not just the college kids. It's not 20s, 30s, 40s. It goes all the way up, because the place to meet folks and community and all that, unfortunately, has been the bars for generations. Far before Stonewall even happened,
For sure.
it was underground bars.
Absolutely.
So, and we know with bars brings a whole lot of substance.
Yep, in every way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
We think it's just alcohol, but I know back in the day when I was hanging out in all the bars, because, hey, I worked in retail back in the 80s and the 90s. Yeah. Let's go. There's a lot going on in all those places. Activities that we just probably, some of us would like to forget on occasion.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, those rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that dance floor.
Yeah.
There's some stuff going on. Yeah.
There is.
So,
not just dancing. Is
no,
that what you're telling
yes,
me?
Yeah. So
We all know it, people. We
yes.
all know it.
And we're not trying to shock people.
No.
We are just truly talking about what happens in the community, right, Rena?
Yep.
Absolutely. And then, you just kind of develop these habits. The more you go, that's the place to go. And then it's, let's loosen up, right? How do we loosen up and get that anxiety gone? Let's, have a shot. Let's start with a shot. Let's do, and you just start developing habits.
Well, and I think too, especially like when you were talking about the 80s and the 90s and the 70s, when it wasn't, socially acceptable to be out, and the only place that you felt safe was in those bars. And so you've had a really tough day mentally, sometimes even physically. You've had this day where you've had to live as someone else, and then now you get to go to the bar, you get to relax, you get to release some of that
And be you.
And it's a mental health disaster, and people don't realize it, because it's like, okay, well, here I feel safe, here I feel welcome, and this is what this space looks like, so here's what I'm going to do. Without even knowing it, you've done it for the last 21 days in a row.
Right.
Or 21 years.
Or 21 years.
Yeah.
And I know people like that. It just
You're looking at one of her in a sense, yeah?
straightforward. You don't realize it. And then you're like, hopefully one day you get to step back and go, wait a second. What was I really doing?
Is this really the way I want my life to go? Is this really, like we were talking about, it's like we want to be back to what is humanity and community and interact with one another and have fruitful conversations versus fruited conversations. When you're sort of altered and you're just sort of, you're being who you think you should be, like you said, but instead, you're just not living in the space that you want to. You're going to the safe space. And I think that's really, I know in the years that I was at First Avenue, it was a safe place because I could just express myself, At work, I had to be all buttoned up and do what I was supposed to do. Then I would go out with some of my friends in the queer community and the gay community, and then I would go to First Avenue with all my friends in the straight community. Well, everybody was everybody.
Everybody there.
Yeah. And then you went home and you're like, oh, now what? Right. Okay, I'll just do it again tomorrow night.
Right.
Because that's where I can go and I can be, sort of release. So we're going to take a break real quick, but we're already off to the races in this conversation. This is so amazing, so amazing. When we come back, what we're going to do is we're going to ask Rena and Andy to talk about some of the Pride events that are going on, and then we are truly going to talk about where do those intersections connect between the overarching stigma that we have around so much of both our communities, which are really one community in a sense.
Yep.
So Thank you two for being here. We're off to a rousing beginning.
Yes.
We'll be back. Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution.
The hair on his face is dirty, dreadlocked in for the man. Yes, a man for what it could spare with shame.
You're listening to a crossover episode of Twin Cities Pride Amplified. On this episode, Andy and Rena from Twin Cities Pride Amplified were guests on the show Redefining Recovery as they discuss the importance of recovery in the LGBTQ plus community. We hope you enjoy this crossover episode between Twin Cities Pride Amplified and Redefining Recovery.
Welcome back. We just cannot wait to continue redefining recovery. This is a recovery revolution. We are excited to be here with Twin Cities Pride today. And before we went on break, we were just discussing the intersection between substance use disorder and the LGBTQ community. And I'm wondering, I have a sibling who was borderline on the verge of having a substance use disorder at a time in their life because because they just really were unsure of who they were, right? For a while, they thought maybe I'm a lesbian or I'm bisexual, and they were just confused, and substance was what was helping them feel better. Finally, they found a group at the U of M. It was a queer community, and they were just embraced and really, really found who they were and found this community who made them feel welcome. And that really helped them get out of that using of their substance, right? Because they had connection now.
Yeah.
Right? Is that something that you see often?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Because I think that because you are entering a space that isn't, I hate to use the word normal, because I think that's a terrible word, but, it's not socially normal, right, to be part of the LGBTQ community. And so it's with every primal instinct to be like, to fight that off. And sometimes the only way you think you can do that is by using a substance to numb that pain or numb that thought process. We see it a lot in the trans community. Myself being a trans man, it was, you always have that voice in the back of your head going, what are you doing? Like, this is not you. You're pretending every single day, and it gets daunting. And and oftentimes, I know we talk a lot about the inaccessibility to mental health. But when you are battling that and you're not even sure yourself, let alone you're going to say that to another human being, I mean, whether it's a therapist or not, like it's incredibly challenging to be like, hey, I think this is who I am and I need room and space to explore that. The easiest thing to do is turn to a substance. And because unfortunately they're so readily available.
And it's hard to know when we're in a safe space.
Yeah.
And who we can trust.
Yeah. And you don't know, and it's, Rena, I'm going to put you on the spot. But if I was walking down the street and I'm looking at Rena, who's got, her husband and her 2 kids and is leading a normal, we'll call it the quote unquote soccer parent life, I'm not necessarily going to think that Rena is a safe space.
Right.
And so I'm going to sit down next to her in a bleacher, maybe at a kid's sporting event, and never be my most authentic self because how do I know that that's a safe space?
Wow.
Yep.
You don't. And so you go to, again, we go back to the whole bar thing.
Right.
You go back to the bar because you know that the people in there have identified themselves and this is a safe space. Or, and here's the other bummer, you do it at home alone.
Yep.
Because you're just trying to numb it.
Yeah.
Because I imagine there's so many voices in your head just conflicting with if you're going out to work, you have to present one way. And if you're going to your family, you have to present one way. You have to go maybe out with some friend groups from high school or college. What were you at one point and who are you developing into? So it's like this, you've described a perfect maze of where do you go. And then you sometimes, I imagine, just want to disappear.
Yeah, you're literally standing in the middle as, that ride at carnivals that you stand up against the wall and it spins around and around. And I don't know how people go on that stupid thing, but whatever. it's like you're standing in the middle and you can't even see straight. And, fortunately there are a lot of us that find community groups. It's why community is so important, whether or not you're in recovery or you're part of the community or part of a religious, faith-based group. Community is so incredibly important because then you realize you're not alone.
You're not so lonely, yeah.
And sometimes being alone is what you think is a lot easier than trying to find that group. And I think when I came on as ED, like Rena pointed out, that was my whole point, is how do we make sure that people can find community all year long so that we're not turning to those things.
Yeah. That's amazing. Rena, what's your space at Twin Cities Pride? What do you do?
So I came on as Andy's assistant.
We laugh about this joke because now the job is,
So when Andy came on as ED, Pride really was kind of June centered. And it was the parade, the festival, Family Fun Day, and the Rainbow Run. And like Andy talked about, a big goal of his was we need to celebrate Pride all year long. We need to have more programming. We need to have more outreach. If you look at our website, it says right on our mission, it is the purpose of Twin Cities Pride is to help people live their most authentic lives. And when people are in that comfortable space of living their authentic lives, you are less susceptible to all these urges to escape and to just forget about things and push things aside. And what better way to do that than to keep creating these authentic spaces for people. So since Andy has come on, we have started a Friendsgiving fall meal. We have done game nights. Dungeons and Dragons nights at the office for young people, like a fall concert. Did I already mention that one? We're just trying to like come up
Trunk
with
or treats.
Nice.
Yes.
The rainbow wardrobe.
Well, yeah. Which started off as a clothing swap at our festival last year, which has exploded. We now have a whole basement full of clothing. People can stop by if they need clothes, gender-affirming garments,
and it doesn't
hygiene
matter
products.
if you're part of the community or not.
No,
If you just need a safe space to go,
we had
please
a family come.
Yeah.
They had a house fire, and they heard that we have free things, and we said, yes, go help yourself. But all that to say, trying to create, I think, these spaces for people to come in and be their authentic selves, especially in a sober environment, is just such a huge, huge step in eliminating that as well. I mean, I had a brother who suffered from substance abuse problems, and his anxiety was really what was kind of pushing him into trying to escape all the time.
Right.
And just found himself in this horrible spiral of, he would go home at night and he would drink, and then he'd wake up the next morning feeling terrible. All his symptoms were exacerbated, and he just couldn't wait to get done with work to go do it again.
Yep.
And if, he felt so lonely and isolated, which is another one of the reasons we try and create these places for people to come just be themselves and take a breath and feel comfortable and relaxed and socialized. Because there are so many, study after study, socialization, though it can be intimidating, can also be very fulfilling and very rewarding, and connections and not feeling so isolated and alone. And so, one of the reasons we do this, burn the candle at both ends in June,
Up, down, all around burning.
We know that it is so important to get these places for people to come and gather and make these connections.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Rena was hired to keep my schedule completely under control.
That's hilarious.
Okay, but this is what happens. Yeah. This is what happens. So we are the world's largest free pride.
Yes.
World's largest, and that's according to Inner Pride.
That's amazing.
So Inner Pride is an organization where all the world's prides come together. We share stuff. We learn about each other. And so we are the largest. We are run by 7 people.
Huge.
We have 7 paid staff.
Huge kudos to you guys. That's amazing.
Yeah. And we've got we couldn't do without the volunteers.
Oh,
If
tell
you've
us
ever been
about
a vendor at Twin Cities Pride and you've met a man named Derek. Derek is a volunteer. Most people don't know that about Derek, but Derek is a volunteer. He leads a very full-time, important job, and yet he volunteers his time. So, Rena got brought on because I needed somebody to hold my ankles as I dreamed really big.
Hold you down.
And
Beautiful.
to hold me down. And so I would not be sitting in this chair right now if it wasn't for Rena and making sure that my schedule is on track. And not only that, but make sure I eat.
Yep.
And make sure I sleep.
There's some
And
of
make
that.
sure I see my family. Yes.
You are me. We are you.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
twinnings here.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got the dynamic here.
Yeah, I mean, we need people. I'm not an executive director. I have a different role at MRC, but kind of been around a long time. I'm the dinosaur there, where you're kind of the newbie at Pride. But there's a lot of things that have to be done, and when you say it's run by 7 people, we have more people at Minnesota Recovery Connection, but they all have different jobs that they do. And when we run the Walk for Recovery, which comes up September 21st, just saying, it's we're a team of 4-ish, 5-ish that run the biggest recovery event.
Yeah.
And what I say about that is that it takes so much energy to do these events for our communities, but they are so important because we need to be in safe spaces for the things that we encounter. Because the stigma around substance use disorder and around the queer and LGBTQIA plus community, I try to make sure I get it all in to make sure I'm inclusive.
Yes.
There are two communities that overlap, and I want us to make sure that we're making that connection.
Yeah.
Because I, as a woman who, as cis female, have in my early years was out and about in the gay bars all the time, the queer bars. It was like let's go to the saloon, let's go to First Avenue, let's go to the saloon, let's go to First Avenue. Now this is where it all precipitated on the problems of drinking because I escaped, but those were safe spaces, regardless of my identity.
Yep.
But when I stopped using alcohol, in my case, I didn't know where I fit in for a long time. And I went to AA, which was my safe space because it was a new group. And now I don't do that because I found other community. So I don't know where I'm going, but
That's what I love about what you guys are doing is you're making these spaces for people to make connections because that's the most important thing is when we don't have these safe spaces, we have spaces that were bars, and that's wonderful to meet and make community, but we need the safe space so that we can remove the substance because it's become a problem in all of our communities.
So what do you think of when you see a rainbow?
Ooh,
I don't know, just glorious.
Like, if you saw a rainbow on the outside of the building, would you walk in it?
Yes.
I would.
You would. Why? Because
it's safe.
Well,
it's a safe space,
It's
right?
it's kind of like this space where all are welcome.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I see in
So
my head.
here's where the intersectionality comes into play, is that people see the rainbow, and this has actually been proven. Seattle Police Department started putting rainbows in businesses to show the community, not just the LGBTQ community, but anybody who felt marginalized and unaccepted. They realized that the flag was people knew that if they walked in there, it was going to be an accepting place because the LGBTQ community has been beaten down so many times that if you are willing to put that symbol out in front, you know you're a welcoming space. And here's where it comes into play, is because where you talk about the stigma between the two groups, they're just looking for a place to feel safe and included, right? They're not always, and unfortunately, someone's going to look at someone with an addict, and I have a brother-in-law who is an addict and who, an amazing human being, absolutely just would put himself on a railroad track for my children, right? Like, and me and my spouse. And yet, the minute somebody hears that, they think negatively. No matter how many times I could simply say that this man would do anything in his power to protect his family and his friends, That's not what they hear,
You must be morally corrupt.
right? Must be,
You got
because you
issues.
screwed it up, right? Newsflash, people. Everybody screws up.
Thank you for sharing that about the flags. That is so great.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll have you know, we have a flag in our office that has been sort of lurking around.
Yeah.
You know, we got it from a vendor that we use to get our buttons.
Yeah.
And, oh, you bet you that bag boy is going to go right up. We have a window in the back of our,
Yeah.
kind of in our space, and I'm just going to pop that. We had a little one up, and it got faded in the window.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So this big boy's going up.
But that's why, because that simple thing of that rainbow flag says so much to so many people, and it's like, oh my gosh, I know I can walk in there. These people have been persecuted far more than me. I can go in there and I can be safe. Nobody's going to judge me.
Wow.
Because I guarantee you, if you were to walk in my office right now and you sat down, nobody would look at me and be like, well, were you an addict? Like, did you have a problem? Nobody's going to do that. They're going to say, hey, pull up a chair. Do you need something to drink?
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's a bottle of water,
What
Gatorade,
conversation?
or a cherry Coke in my in my problem.
We had somebody come in the office yesterday because they didn't realize that their walk was going to be quite so long to where they were going to just ask for a bottle of water.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
But do you think they stopped at any of the other
No.
retail locations?
No.
But they saw the flag and thought, oh, well, I could stop in there and it would be okay for me to ask.
Wow.
This is like so obvious
Literally
and
yesterday.
fantastic.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mind blowing to me. I'm actually trying to work with the city of Minneapolis to do the same program that Seattle did, because again, if you are in trouble, and we know oftentimes people with substance abuse maybe make some really bad decisions. Maybe they're out in the park and they've, are not in the right space. But if they see a flag, I guarantee you they will know, no matter what mental state, that is a safe place to go. And we're not going to turn and kick them out. We're going to say, how can we help?
Rainbows will never be the same again.
Never. You know what I think would be so cool is that if we could work, the Minneapolis Police Department, for good, bad, and otherwise,
Yep.
If there were cops that had flags on their cars, and maybe they were removable, and depending upon who's what, I'm not going to say.
Yep.
We all have different experiences in life, but let me
Right.
know if there was one of those magnetic ones that was on somebody's car on the front or the back, and now knowing what a rainbow really ultimately can
Right.
mean, boy, could we have a different environment.
And I have very, very, very adamantly tried to work with them to say, as a trans man, before all my documents got changed, I used to carry 2 business cards in my wallet of Minneapolis police officers that if I was stopped and questioned, I would say call, and they will tell you exactly who I am.
Wow.
Because you panic. But if you were to see, the minute you see that rainbow, I have pins. Rena's got one on her bag that says, "You are safe with me."
Like this is okay.
Something
So
that little that someone sees and says, "Oh, okay, they're a safe person that if I'm in trouble, I can go to, and they will help me and not turn their back against me."
and this can be as simple as Andy shows up at the softball game, like the situation
Yep.
he was talking about earlier.
Yep.
He sees this bag sitting next to me. I might be the one he sits next to on the bleachers.
Yes.
100% I am.
Yeah, because that just says
Right.
that messaging, which is so incredibly important.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Thank you.
Sorry
Just-
to mind blow you there.
Well,
No. You'll never look at them the same. I guarantee
I
you,
won't.
anytime you will notice rainbow flags in businesses. You will notice them everywhere because people don't put them up if they're not willing to accept anybody who walks in that door.
and just this is the kind of messaging we need to be talking about. Whenever, if I move it back to the substance use disorder world, years ago I was in New York and I was wandering around and I saw the little round sign that it's round and it's blue with an AA in white on it. And instantly at that time when I was utilizing those meetings, I'm like, oh, there's a meeting there.
Yeah.
To the rest of the world, nobody would probably know what that meant.
I would never know what that meant.
Yeah.
Nope.
But it's like, and we have one in the front of our office, and I've been sort of moving it off. Somebody had it on the door, so it would make noise, and I don't want it to fall. But I'm like, all of a sudden, I have to realize that says something to an entire population that the rest of the world doesn't know, just like what you're talking about.
Yep.
And we need to have that messaging.
Yeah.
We need to have that messaging, both subtle as well as overt. A flag is overt, but it all depends upon how you see it.
Right.
And a little sign that says AA could mean so many things. Oh, AAA? Oh, they forgot the A. No, it's 2 A's. It's okay. I mean, it's just like, you just blowing my mind all over the place.
Because if you were standing on a sidewalk and you were struggling with addiction and you're looking at somewhere that, a bar or whatever that looks like, and you've got a place next to it that looks like a community center with a rainbow flag, where are you going to go? If you're panicking and you shouldn't go to point A, you're going to go to point B.
Yeah.
And you're going to hopefully make that decision. Now, if there was a building with no rainbow flag or no symbol in the window, you're probably going to choose what you think is a better option for you.
What's been comfortable
Yeah,
for
what's gonna-
years.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even though you go in with good intention,
Generally, the outcome is poor.
Right.
One way or another.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez Louise. It's just so cool to have these conversations because we learn stuff. And that's
Makes a
the
difference.
whole idea around the show that we have developed, which is Redefining Recovery. It is a recovery revolution. But in every way that we look at recovery, it can be about recovering from substance use, but it can be recovering from our trauma in the past. It can be recovering from the things that we've encountered and the changes that we have undertaken in our lives, and finding that safe space that we can recover from old messaging and old ways that we have been judged or prejudged or still going to be judged. When I say I'm a woman in recovery now, people go, huh? And I say, well, I used to drink, and I was an alcoholic in the past. They're like, oh, okay. And then there's that, like you said,
awkward,
that
You're
awkward
less
thing.
than.
But what I do say is that I'm a woman in recovery, and if I need to, I'll add I struggled with alcohol. But if I just say I'm a woman in recovery, the curiosity is there, and they're willing. Somebody is willing to ask the question. Potentially, just like I think in the community of the queer and LGBTQ is. If we just leave the door slightly open for a conversation, we can understand that, I think of all the individuals that have been in pain. And rather than be in pain, can we have, can I give you a bottle of water? Can I give you a cup of coffee? Tell me about your life. That's what we do in our world. We tell our stories. And so sometimes we have to be careful with our stories, but.
Right. But I think, too, when you say that, I'm a woman in recovery, it opens a door. Like when I introduce myself and I say, hi, I'm Andy, I use he, him pronouns. Whether or not I was a cis white male or whether I'm a trans man. The fact that I said that to the person across the room tells them something about me that leaves a door open. Yes. They may never take that door because they're not 100% sure. But you saying I'm a woman in recovery, I may then turn and be like, hey, can I ask you a question?
What does that mean?
Maybe I need help. And I realize that you were strong enough to say it, and I want that. People don't understand that the power of words is a lot. Something may never come out of it, whether I say my pronouns or you say recovery. Something may never come out of it in the back, but that one time it does, you probably saved a life.
Yeah, you planted a seed of somebody being able to walk through that door.
Yep.
And, that's what this, you're just reminding me why we are doing this, besides the fact it's been a dream of mine forever. But it's that, and there's a whole new conversation going on in certain worlds about we have to talk more and we have to listen better.
Yeah.
And we have to be willing to have a misunderstanding but not be defensive and have a debate about things. We need to have that open conversation. So this is just amazing, and I'm just telling you, looking at the clock, and everybody's
I
like,
know.
can we have just like another 3 hours? Brett, you got 3 hours in there?
I know. Our power sound
we're
tech
gonna,
is...
we're gonna have another discussion around this for sure.
Yes.
But when we come back, and I'm not cutting us super short, but when we come back, I'd like you to talk about the Pride Festival.
Yeah.
Lay some of those statistics on us again, because it just makes my brain just explode with excitement.
Sure.
And then we get to talk about the fact that we get to do a show at Pride, which is super exciting. Erin, what did you want to add?
Well, I was just going to say maybe add if you have some sober events going on,
100%.
recovery events, that would be great too, because I would like to go to those.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Last year at Pride Festival on Friday night, do you know Z?
I do.
Yeah, Z had his event at the Plymouth Church.
Yeah.
It was a sober pizza event.
Yeah.
And that's not happening? I know Z's not organizing it. Is there a Friday night event taking place at all? I'm jumping the gun here a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get into some things
Some
that
that
you
they're
can
going
do. Yeah.
okay,
That you
because
can definitely do.
myself and a former coworker Justin were there, and we kind of did just a little presentation. There was another gentleman there who did harm reduction conversation and stuff. So
Very
these
cool.
are all the things that we need to talk about. We need to talk about in our communities. So
Yeah, for sure.
we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to capsulize this incredible conversation that could go on for miles, and come back, and we will just continue this incredible energy that's going on. So thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. We'll catch you in a couple seconds here.
And this house needs love in it, 'cause without it there's no home. And there's one thing that I've learned through this year of being alone.
You're listening to a crossover episode of Twin Cities Pride Amplified. On this episode, Andy and Rena from Twin Cities Pride Amplified were guests on the show Redefining Recovery as they discuss the importance of recovery in the LGBTQ plus community. We hope you enjoy this crossover episode between Twin Cities Pride Amplified and Redefining Recovery.
Love that music. This makes me sway in my chair. Welcome back to Redefining Recovery, Recovery Revolution. We are here with two incredible people, Rena and Andy from Twin Cities Pride. And we're going to just turn the mics over to them to talk about all the events that they have going on, the community that they're building. We've talked about the intersections between our worlds, but we are one humanity, and we just got to love on one another. That's our message all the time. Just love on one another. So talk to us, folks.
Yeah, so, I think there's a couple of unique events that we hold. I mean, unfortunately, Twin Cities Pride has been known as the big party, right? And it is a big party. It's a celebration. However, there are spaces that are safe for people. And I think that that's really important. So starting tomorrow, June 23rd, we have our Family Fun Day, and that's at Como Park East Pavilion, and that's from 11 to 2. That is a completely sober event. It's very, very, very family-friendly, and you get a free meal out of the whole ordeal. So
Sweet.
why
Is
not?
so
Why
much
not?
Yeah, it's a blast.
They have volunteers there grilling you hot dogs, handing out chips. We've got
We have a Twins baseball camp.
yes.
That is going to come, and they're going to, some folks from the Twins are going to come out and,
I'm gonna be
hit
there.
some balls and do all that fun stuff. Yeah, and then,
Arts and crafts.
oh, yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
if you think that that's just for the kids, you're kidding yourself.
Right.
Oh,
because
no.
I know 100% those adults were over there with some hot glue guns and beads, and we're making some pretty things.
We have an amazing volunteer named Bubba who comes and brings all of these wonderful things to decorate. Hats, bags. He has so many baubles and little things to decorate with. We had parents, kids, and just people walking by thinking, oh my gosh, that looks like fun.
Oh, I'm there.
Yeah.
And so everybody can go. And I will say this is, Twin Cities Pride Family Fun Day. Allies, come and bring your families.
Oh, my
Yes.
goodness,
You
yeah.
are so welcome.
Yeah.
You are so welcome
The
at
more
this.
the merrier.
And Caddy, when you said the one humanity earlier, that's so perfect because that's exactly it's about making connections. My kids love Family Fun Day. My daughter Izzy, oh my gosh, you could not get her away from the hat making station last year.
Wow.
It's
My
like,
kid still wears hers that she
Nice.
made last year.
Love it.
Still
it's
wears
like,
it.
hey, little kid who plays fast pitch, do you want to go look at all the sports mascots and stuff that are over there? No.
Oh, cute.
Just making another butterfly hat.
Which
Just
which reminds me, a lot of our pro teams bring out their mascots, so you get to take pictures with them. It's a 100% free event, 100% accessible as
These are
well.
amazing.
So
Yes.
it is
Accessible as
it is
well.
100% accessible event. We have folks there to help with whatever you need. It's a great little event, rain or shine. We show up and we have an absolute blast.
So how many folks show up? Just if you were
Roughly
to...
about 2,000.
He's,
That's like nothing.
he
so.
says roughly about 2,000. I'm like 200. No, 2,000.
No, about 2,000. We feed about 2,000 meals.
Yeah, but so again, any allies that are out there that are thinking, I want to make connections, I want to reach out, I want to branch out, this is such a great event to go to.
100%. And then you can roll into Pride Weekend. So Pride Weekend is an incredibly tough time sometimes for a lot of folks in recovery. And so we have Sober Pride. Yay! And Sober Pride is, we didn't exclude you. We're not going to exclude you. You are part of our community. You will be in the park. But we make sure that it's a space that you feel comfortable. There are folks up there to chat with you if you're struggling. And it's just a great place to find community. Oftentimes they'll throw up a grill up there and you just never know what's going to happen. Yeah, up there. So that's really, really great. And I think the other thing, you all will be at the festival as well.
Absolutely.
So come stop, make sure that you're getting that. But it's about the resources as well, right? So what resources? We talk about mental health often being a really good kind of links substance abuse and the LGBTQ and just kind of that path that goes down a very narrow, windy road. But we have places there, like I think about Reclaim.
Reclaim is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Reclaim will get you mental health care no matter what your ability to pay is.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
We talked to their ED on Amplified, Ryan Fouts, about...
Ryan's amazing.
And he dropped some of those knowledge bombs on us about... 60% of young LGBTQ plus people would like mental health care and just can't access it. 60%.
Yep.
Yeah.
So at the festival, that's why it's so important we do have all these resources.
Right.
So seek out Reclaim. Their website, by the way, anyone listening, is reclaim.care.
Nice.
Yep.
And if you're interested in reaching out to them, you can send them an email at services@reclaim.care.
Thank you.
Yes.
And they will connect you. Reclaim is just phenomenal, and they want to work with you. So,
but go around the festival, find those resources, find you all, ask the questions, do all that fun stuff, and then here's the other thing we didn't talk about.
What?
Here we go.
Tell me.
Youth.
Yes.
Recovery is not just adults, people.
No.
It's not just adults. And what we realized last year, and this was the most scary thing to me being a parent, is that youth were getting on buses and they were taking Ubers and not telling their parents where they were going. And they were coming down to the festival on Friday night looking for a safe place to be.
Wow.
Right. So... Andy fixed that. So we are having a youth night on Friday night. It's a completely safe space. It's from 5:30 to 8:30 in the park, in the middle of the park. You are 100% safe. It is an adult semi-free zone that has some drag shows and fun, appropriate things for kids where they can find community and stop turning to those substances or turning to self-harm.
That is just amazing.
That's really exciting because we have little children who are curious, and that's a nice safe space for littles and parents to come and learn themselves.
Yep.
I love it.
And
All
so
that exploration.
that youth area is open all weekend. It's surrounded by all these amazing youth orgs to find community like your sibling did. To be like, here's a group, whether you are a 5-year-old or you're a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
There is space and there are places for you to get that help and to make sure that you're finding the right community and the people who are going to uplift your life, not drag it down.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's so important.
yeah.
I mean, I remember when all the years that I've been at Pride with Minnesota Recovery Connection, then going prior to that. And that is, there are just a lot of young folks walking around and they're wearing and exploring and just like expressing, there's the word I was looking for, themselves in these really creative ways. And I'm like, this is a place where it can happen, where nobody is going to judge you.
Right.
No, I
You
always
get to be.
Yeah, I always say the minute you walk in that festival, nobody cares who you are.
Yep.
Nobody cares what you're wearing. Nobody cares what you did yesterday. All they care about is that you're there and your family.
Yeah.
And that's it. When I tell people, they're like, well, how many incidents did you have last year? The answer is none.
Like, what kind of incident do you mean? There was so much hugging going on?
I know, there was so much hugging.
Exactly.
I mean, so we keep track of anything like that police have to respond to or security has to respond to or medics. And I will tell you right now, the only thing we have are medical, and that's because people refuse to drink water.
Yeah. Drink water at
Drink
Pride,
water, wear
please.
sunscreen, et cetera, right?
Yes. Be safe.
But nobody cares. And, and that's, you are just there. You are loved. There are moms and dads and grandmas walking around giving hugs and just loving life and being, who they are. There's allies. Our allies are so important to us. So,
Well, I want to pick up on that because when you said that, Rena, I was like, our community, when we talk our greater community, but then our recovery community, it's our allies. We birthed a button probably about 3 years ago that says ally.
Yeah.
Just
Recovery ally. Yeah.
Recovery ally. Thank you. See, I can't do it without her.
I know. I hear you.
Recovery ally, and the idea is, people kind of look at it and like, so, and they come to our table or they come to some place around, and I'm like, are you somebody who struggled with substance use disorder? And they're like, no. And I said, but have you ever known anybody? And they're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, then take the ally button. Because that means that you have at least been a friend, a person, a neighbor, somebody who's seen somebody who struggled. And I think that's where our all those intersections come together, where we need allies. We need people to recognize and see people for who they are. Love on all of us.
Exactly.
That's what Erin and I talk about week after week after week. And what I've heard from people who listen to this show who are the allies in my world, they're like, hey, we just want you to know that we can be okay, but we need people's support and help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have to have people around us that care. So thank you,
Thank
Rena
you.
and Andy.
you.
Thank
This has
you.
been amazing. So this show will air on the 23rd and 22nd, and make sure that you are going to the Pride Festival. And we will be there. Join us at Minnesota Recovery Connection, becoming a monthly donor, annual donor, volunteer at our organization, minnesotarecovery.org. Thank you, thank you, thank you.